Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Courtney Ryan, and today I'm going to be talking all about how to message girls on Instagram. So Instagram is one of the best ways to meet people these days, especially if you're someone that is not a fan of dating apps. I actually know a couple of guys who have slid into girls' DMs and now have a girlfriend because of it. So it's a great place to meet people, and if you do it right, you can be very successful. So I'm going to be going over the best and most efficient ways to message a girl on Instagram and hopefully get a reply. But nothing is guaranteed. If I sat here and told you, if you say this, this, and this, you will 100% get a reply, I would be lying to you. And there's a lot of videos on YouTube that do that, and I will never be one of those. So you can try this. It might work. It might not. If you're messaging a girl with 1 million followers, she might not reply to you, or she might reply to you to try to get money from you. So take everything with a grain of salt. I'm gonna do the best I can to give you guys the tools that you need, some conversation starters, the best way to get her to reply. But remember, I am not a magician. Nothing is guaranteed. So in addition to telling you guys what you should be doing, I'm also going to tell you guys what you should not be doing, just as a little friendly reminder to help increase your chances. If you haven't already, be sure to like this video and hit that subscribe button to be in the loop for when I release new content. It helps me out, which in return will help me produce awesome free content for all of you, and I do appreciate it. Number 1 tip. This is the secret sauce. This is the best advice I can give you. Respond to her story. This is without a doubt the best and most effortless way to start a conversation with someone, because you want the conversation to feel natural and easy and not super forced or like you're doing an introduction or something weird. So in my experience, the guys that I have messaged back are always the ones that respond to my story. I will also say on Instagram, there's a feature where you can set up your messages so that if someone doesn't follow you, it has to go through a message request before it even goes into your inbox. So this can be a challenge because sometimes it's not in your primary or general message thread and you don't see them and you have to actually manually go into your message request to see them. This creates a challenge because she really might not see your message, which is frustrating, especially if she's someone with a lot of followers. I have like 15,000 something and I still have thousands of unread messages in my message request box. So keep in mind, if you're messaging a girl that has a ton of followers, this might create kind of a challenge. I'm going to give you guys the best tips I can, but keep that in mind. It's going to also depend on the girl that you're messaging and how many messages she's getting. So in regards to responding to her story, so if she posts a photo at a coffee shop, maybe you guys live in the same city, you could respond to her story and say something like, "Do you go there often? I've been looking for a new coffee place." That way she knows you live in the same city as her, she knows you like coffee, and maybe you could start a conversation about meeting up with her for coffee if she responds to you. So super easy way to start the conversation. That one's great for someone that lives in your city. I know some of you guys are messaging girls in other countries, and while I think you should totally shoot your shot and go for it, and I never want to discourage you, I think your chances of getting a response and being able to start a good conversation with this girl is a lot lower because the chance of meeting up with her or being romantically involved with her is a lot lower. And long distance relationships are a whole nother challenge that I haven't even talked about yet on this channel, but I will definitely get into it because I've been in one in the past and it sucked, just being totally honest with you guys. So I have a lot to say. So again here, if you live in the same city and she posts a story with the location that she's at, you could respond to her story and say, "Hey, you're in my neighborhood, check out blank, they have the best blank." Something that you're recommending to her. And even if she doesn't live in the same city that you live in, if she's visiting somewhere that you've been before, you could say the same thing and just talk about somewhere that you've been there that you really enjoyed, and it would just get the conversation going. So the best advice I can give you here is to use what she's posting as a way to start a conversation with her. The same way I tell you guys when you're on dating apps to use her profile as kind of context clues as to what you should say to her. The same thing goes for social media. So even if she posted a photo on her feed, just messaging her something that ties into that is another great option too. So showing relatability and genuine curiosity is probably the best thing that you can do. You really don't want your message to look like it's just a copied and pasted thing that you send to every girl. So I would really recommend kind of zoning in on what she posted, use your context clues, and come up with something from there. And I think the examples I gave gave are great starting points, but you're going to want to kind of add your own flair and make it your own personal message. I promise you this is going to guarantee a response much better than commenting on her latest selfie with fire emojis like every other thirsty guy is doing. This is not going to do anything but make you look bad. The best thing you can do is go straight to the DMs. When it comes to commenting on her photos, I think the best thing you can do is save that for after you guys have already met. If that happens for you, I think if you do it before you've even met this girl, it can often look obsessive and you're just going to blend in with every other guy that's doing the same exact thing. You're going to want to message her something, like I said, responding to her story that's going to get you to the top of her inbox and make you stand out from all these other guys. So next, I'm going to be talking about some DMing rules. So just going through my DMs on Instagram, I have so much advice and so many tips I could give you guys for what to do and what not to do. As a girl who receives a ton of messages, I think I can speak very highly about this because it's something that I experience all day, every single day. Like I said, I have thousands of unread messages, and I think my situation is a little bit different because it's often you guys just asking for my advice and not necessarily trying to slide into my DMs and get my number and all of that kind of stuff like some of these other girls are dealing with. However, I still know what it's like to be a girl getting bombarded with messages from you guys. A girl is going to get a lot more messages than a guy typically does, unless he's famous or something, or a celebrity or something like that. So keep that in mind. There's a ton of do's and don'ts here, so stick with me. So don't bombard her with messages. I've talked about this before on dating apps, texting. The same rule goes for social media. If you've responded to her stories or you've messaged her more than once, I would really not send a ton more messages. If she just hasn't seen your thread yet, when she finally gets to it, it's just going to look obsessive because there's going to be a ton of messages there. So keep that in mind. If you really are trying to have this girl notice you and get romantically involved with her, you're gonna wanna play it cool. And I'm not saying play games or do anything psychological to get her attention. I really just think you don't wanna come across looking obsessive or like all you do is send her messages on Instagram. So 1 or 2 is totally fine. You could respond to 2 stories. If she doesn't open the first one, I think you could maybe get away with another one, but I would keep it at that. Sometimes I'll be going through my inbox and there'll be something in my message request. The other day I was going through and I opened a message request and there were probably, this one guy had sent me probably 500 messages. I'm not kidding, all within like a 1-week span. It was the most bizarre thing I've ever seen, and I instantly hit block because there was some very questionable things in there. If you're watching this, you know who you are. It leads me into my next point here, which is don't send inappropriate photos. I shouldn't even have to say this. It's sad that I do, but I promise you, no random girl on Instagram that you've never met before wants to see a photo of your southern region of your body or even a selfie. I don't think you should send a photo of yourself at all, and especially not some photos of some other weird stuff that you're into. You want to keep that for later on in the relationship once you already know this girl, not before she even met you. I think it's okay to send her a post or something funny that you think might make her laugh, but whatever you do, don't send a dick pic, don't send a selfie of yourself. Just really play it cool, guys. Send her a message. If she doesn't reply, on to the next one. I'm just gonna reiterate this here. I feel like I need to say it again because some of you just don't get it. Never, ever, ever send a dick pic. My last tip here is to stay in the present. So a lot of times guys will follow you on social media and then they'll go through all of your photos. They will like every photo you've ever posted, comment on old photos, and again, it just creates this kind of obsessive look for you. And if you're trying to get romantically involved with this girl, you think you might have a chance with this girl, the last thing you want to do is come across as obsessive or like you're creeping on her entire life. While you may very well go back and look through every photo, that's fine. I do that when I follow someone on Instagram. I look at what they were doing 5 years ago on July 21st. But you don't like it. And if you accidentally like it, you don't then go through and like more of them. Just play it cool. This is one of those things that you think will get her attention because you're going and liking an old photo. So in her notifications, it's gonna come up as something different. But the thing is that it doesn't get her attention necessarily in a good way unless she is attracted to you from your profile photo. So if she's not right off the bat attracted to your profile photo, this is not going to work out for you. And I know that's harsh, but I'm just being so honest here. So like I said, this might get her attention, but it's probably going to be in a, whoa, this guy just liked every single photo I've ever posted on here, and that's kind of weird kind of way, rather than a, ooh, who is this kind of thing. So the best case scenario for you is to just respond to her story, send her a DM, and do things that way. A DM is more personal. It's going to really just increase your chances of getting a reply from her. Even if you comment on her photo, she might reply to you. So just to kind of round it all out, the best things you can do are reply to her story, maybe send her something funny in her DMs, send her a post from something else. If none of that works, I would say just move on and go for someone else, especially if you're going for a girl that has a ton of followers and probably gets a ton of attention and messages from guys. I don't want you guys to be wasting your time on one girl if you've tried and it's not working. So if you're really not wanting to give up, you could try commenting on her photo and then see if she responds to the DMs that you already sent her, but don't keep DMing her, don't keep bombarding her. The worst mistake I see guys make is just wasting too much time on a girl that isn't interested. And if she's interested, I promise you'll know. If you've never met this girl and you're shooting your shot, that's one thing, and I think you guys should totally go for it. But there comes a point when you just have to move on, and wasting your time messaging this girl over and over and over and commenting on all her photos and going back through and liking and commenting on other photos from the past is not going to do you any favors, I promise. So guys, that is all I have for today. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel to be in the loop for when I release new content. So really guys, again, just speaking from personal experience, any guy that I've ever messaged back on Instagram normally has responded to my story, and we've had a conversation there that way. And then after you kind of build that relationship, then they start commenting on your photos, and you've got a little good Instagram thing going, and it could progress for you farther than that into something romantic if you're both interested. So that's just the best case scenario, I think, for you. The best way you can possibly get a reply is to just respond to her story, send her a DM, and see where it goes. You don't want to look needy. You don't want to look obsessed with this girl when you don't even know her. You really just want to shoot your shot the same way you do on a dating app or any other kind of social media. At the end of the day, you guys all deserve to be with someone who gives you the attention back that you give to them. So I hope that you all are able to find that. If you have any success stories with DMing on Instagram or getting a girl to message you back on Instagram, please let me know down in the comments below. I would love to hear your stories, and I think it could also help some other guys out as well. Also, be sure to follow me on Instagram at Courtney Christine Ryan. I love connecting with all of you guys on there as well. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all next time.